So more developers chime in on the limitations of the Xbox Series S, and it's not all bad news. There's some bad news, but it's not all bad. Let's get into it.
Skip it up and that up.
So a couple days ago, I talked about how Sasson Sepher, the senior tech producer at Remedy Games, said there may be trouble with the Xbox Series S from a technical standpoint. From a consumer, he said it looked great. From a developer's side point of view, he says he sees trouble. That's me paraphrasing his tweet, but it's basically the same thing that he said. Well, a couple other accredited developers out there, Dustin Land, who's a senior programmer at id Software, and Billy Kahn, who's a lead engine programmer at id Software, so it's safe to say they know what they're doing, also had some interesting things to say about the Series S. This is what they had to say on Twitter. Let's take a look. The S is significantly nerfed compared to the X, 4 versus 12.5 teraflops, 20 versus 52 compute units, but still much beefier than a base 1. It's a good option for Xbox exclusives if you buy a PS5 and don't want to buy another expensive console, or build a PC, I'll add in. But then Billy Kahn chimes in and says this: the memory situation is a big issue on the S. The much lower amount of memory and the split memory banks with drastically slower speeds will be a major issue. Aggressively lowering the render resolutions will marginally help, but will not completely counteract the deficiencies. He also goes on to say this to comfort the consumers: all the new consoles are a major step up from last gen. A little more memory would have been cool. We always want more memory. Engines already scale really well. We got this. As a gamer, there is nothing to worry about. Buy the one that suits your needs and have fun. So it's not all doom and gloom from Billy Kahn over at id. But then another developer who's an indie dev chimes in and really doesn't think there's anything to worry about. Gavin Stevens, who's the co-owner of Team Blur Games, really thinks that the Xbox Series S is fine. He has a very long tweet, but I'm just going to read the first couple paragraphs. Then we'll discuss. How are we all doing? I've decided to keep on with the tech posts, but in a slightly different way. So using updated and final info on what the new Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S are like, I wanted to talk about the big question right now. Is the Series S going to hold back next-gen gaming? Spoiler alert, no, it's not. And anybody with even a little experience will tell you as such. I'll go into more detail below as to why that is, but the most important aspect is that this is not a last-gen console. I can't stress that enough. If we were comparing this to an Xbox One S/Xbox One X, there would be issues, of course. While you can make a product work on both new and old generation systems, it will require a lot of work and also limits what you could do from a gameplay standpoint a bit more. And to sum up, it's literally 41 different tweets that he has. He also goes on to talk about how the new RDNA 2 tech is better than the graphics core Next tech that was inside of the Xbox One X. And he says you can't even compare the two, in the fact that the Series S and Series X have the same CPU, minus it being slightly slower in the Series S, means the console will be fine. That's the super Cliff Notes version. But if you want to check out the full tweet of what he has, where he goes into real big detail about the Series S, I'll have a link below in the description. So again, what will be interesting is when all of these consoles are out on the market, the Series S, the Series X, the PS5 Digital Edition, even though both the PS5 and the Digital Edition have the same hardware minus a Blu-ray drive. And it'll be interesting to see how games perform. Because we know there's spec differences between the PS5 and Series X, and we obviously know the Series S is the budget version of Microsoft's next-gen console. And it'll be interesting to see. We know it's not going to have 4K gaming, but it'll be interesting to see if the limitations of the Series S do hold it back. And we'll see if Gavin Stevens is right or Billy Kahn is right. So I kind of agree with Gavin Stevens. I'm not a software engineer or a hardware engineer. I'm not a developer, but you have a next-gen GPU in there, the RDNA 2 GPU in the Xbox Series S. You have the super powerful Zen 2 cores in there, 8 cores, 16 threads, which is a huge step up from the One X and Xbox One. So I still think you're going to be able to get next-gen experiences. So In the end, though, we'll have to wait and see. I don't think the Series S will hold back next-gen gaming, but maybe ports will be less pretty than people are even expecting on the Xbox Series S. Only time will tell. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Hey, if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a Review Tech USA member. I'll have a link below in the description. I live stream now on this channel all the time, and it gives you access to cool emoticons to use as well while I live stream. Again, link below in the description. Thank you for your continued support.